Everyone, welcome back to my next video. Today we're going to meet Kris in this really nice Ford van. Hi, Kris.
Hi, Bob.
And this is not actually the first time we've met.
No, I actually met you at a tiny festival in Oregon about 2 years ago.
So you've been interested in tiny homes for a while now.
I was interested in tiny homes. In fact, I was looking at buying a tiny home and stumbled upon one of your videos. And I was very apprehensive about going into debt, and I really liked what you said, and that changed a lot of things in my life.
And so here 2 years later, you're living in a van.
I am.
And how long have you been in this van?
I've been in it for just over a year now.
Good. So that's a long timer. We have a lot of newcomers coming out.
Yeah, it's true. I see a lot of people out now.
So how's the first year been?
It's been good. It's been difficult. It's been a learning experience, and it's been a spiritual journey.
Yeah, it's there are good things and there are bad things. It's like everything in life,
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have your drawbacks with the sticks and bricks. You have your drawbacks with a van.
Right. Oh, but looking back on the last year, overall, are you glad you're out here?
Overall, I am glad I'm out here. One of the main reasons that I did come out was because I was facing homelessness for a third time. And the last time I was homeless, I lived in a Ford Escort during the winter in Oregon.
Oh, no.
And it was brutal. And I decided that wasn't going to happen again. If I was going to be homeless again, I was going to have everything that I needed.
Right. And a Oregon winter, which is, of course, rainy and dreary and damp and mildewy, especially when you're in a car, yeah, that'd be miserable. It'd be so much better in a van. And are you still in Oregon?
I haven't been to Oregon since I left 2 years ago, but I am going back this summer.
Right. So as a snowbird, you can just go where the weather's better.
I am, yes, I'm chasing 70 to 80 degrees all the time.
Right, which is where we are right now in the desert, and it happens to be 70 or 80 degrees all the time.
Yeah.
So you've succeeded in that.
I have, and I've been probably 10 or 12 places just this season alone, just since December.
Right, chasing the good weather.
Exactly.
Right. And that's one of the best things, while there are a lot of things that aren't good about living in a van, the knowledge that you'll never be homeless, that is so important.
It is, and one thing that really helps me a lot is I'm really proud of myself for what I've accomplished. And if I ever get discouraged, like if the weather is really bad and I can't come out of the van, if it's super windy or rainy or whatever, I'm always really grateful that I have everything that I need inside the van and I'm safe.
Right. As long as you can get food, you're probably going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that you can almost always take care of that.
Right. And water. Water is really critical.
Yeah, of course, you gotta have water, sure. But even so, 5 gallons for $1, you can hopefully afford water.
Yeah.
So, are you retired then?
I am not retired. I am disabled. I have degenerative disc disease in my neck and had surgery in 2012 and had 3 levels replaced of disc. My body rejected the replacements. And then 4 months later, I was hit head-on by a texting Comcast driver, which probably actually made it so that I could never work again.
Oh. So you have a steady income while you're out here, although you would, I'm sure, trade it for quick as anything to have your health back.
I would. I started off with a different income than what I have now. When I came out, my ex-husband owed me several thousands of dollars in back child support, so I was collecting back child support when I initially came out. Unfortunately, he died recently, and it cut my income in half. So now I'm just living on disability, and it's a lot different.
So it's your pretty tight income.
I am on a very tight budget.
Right, and at least the van allows you to live.
It does. It does. Fortunately, I planned, like I said, and I paid off all of my debts before I came out. So that made a really big difference in what was going out of my income every month.
And life hasn't been real easy for you through your life.
It hasn't. My ex-husband was extremely abusive, um, and it took a really long time for me to get the courage and strength to get out of that. He was manipulative, and the whole thing. Um, so when I started off, I didn't think that I had any strength. I didn't think that I could do anything because I had been brainwashed into thinking that I couldn't survive without him. So that still comes with me on the road. I do have a lot of fear and anxiety, and I doubt myself quite frequently. But I have to remember that he's the one who put that in me, and it's not
Right.
true.
And your job now is to root that out and be rid of it.
And it is a process. We've been divorced for over 10 years, but it still is something that I have to work on.
Right. And you mentioned that this had been a spiritual journey, and I'm assuming that's part of the spiritual journey for you?
It is part of the spiritual journey. I had lost faith in almost everything, and I've gained a lot of faith back, and in a higher power. And I know a lot of people don't feel that way, and it's fine, but it does get me through. I have a lot more faith in humanity. The people out here that I've met are extraordinary.
Extraordinary, yeah.
They have half of the stuff that's been done to my van, half of the things in my van are because of other people that I met out here. And so it has been a really huge growing experience.
I hear that story just all the time, how the community is, the life is good for most of us, but the community just makes it really good, fulfilling.
It does. I don't know. I don't really know why it is that there's a difference. I guess that maybe because we're not desensitized by everything that's going on with the city dwellers, but we're able to connect a lot more with each other, and there's a real genuine caring.
Right. And what happens is that it starts to go back ways, back and forth, and you're helped, and so you help, and then someone else helps, and instead of this negative snowball, which most of us are in, we become a positive snowball of better and better lives.
That's absolutely true. I've met the best people in the last year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's not been easy. There have been hardships, but your life is far better now than it was before.
It is far better now than it was before. I get this every day.
Right.
And some days I don't particularly care for it, but other days it's just the most extraordinary thing that I've ever seen, and so yeah, it's every day is better, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, if we think of this becoming a nomad as being an adventure. On the outside, you travel, you see things, you meet people, you have adventures. But it is for you, I assume?
I do have struggles with that because I have a dog that's not friendly towards other animals. Unfortunately, it has been a serious problem. It's caused me to have a lot of loneliness. A lot of people that I've started traveling with and have connected with were okay with it, and then all the dogs have to be on a leash, and it's always a problem.
Yeah.
So that has caused me a lot of loneliness. I've been alone a lot, and I don't really like that part. But
you made a commitment.
I made a commitment to her, to the van, and to this life. So we just find a way to work through it every day.
But at the same time, it's also an inward adventure. You're rooting out of those things in you that have harmed you and have been imposed on you from the past.
Every day. Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes things will happen that will trigger something that I haven't seen in years, in even a decade. And then I've got to look at it and find out what it is, what's really doing it, and find a way to get past it or resolve it.
Right.
And I do that a lot.
Right. And so that it's an inward adventure, and it's not always fun. In fact, it's sometimes very, very unpleasant.
Sometimes.
But at the end of the road, there is a pot of gold.
I go to bed every night in my van with a full belly, and I'm comfortable and warm and dry.
That's as good as life can get.
That's all I want.
Yeah. In our culture, we have a lot of, especially with women, to blame the victim, and I'm sure you've experienced that all the time. So there are a lot of ladies out there in your situation. They're trapped in somewhere they don't want to be, and they're afraid to get out. And it wasn't easy, but you're out. Do you have any advice for them?
You know, I do. One is you need to know that you're not alone. You can find help out there. There are support groups. Ask your family, ask your friends. A lot of them get kind of burned out on listening to your stories and what you're going through. So you can reach out. There's 211 is across the nation, and there are counselors and people there to help 24/7. Another thing that I think is important is you need to have strength within yourself. You need to know that you can do it. You were doing it before you met them. You can do it again, and you need to rely on yourself and have trust that you can do it, and have just a little bit of faith in yourself, and then just do it. Just walk away.
And as you mentioned earlier, confidence in a higher power, however you define that. I think that is an important element in this story.
Absolutely. I think having faith in something, no matter what it is, something stronger and bigger than you that can help you and will help you.
Right. Now, we don't want to be downers here, folks. It's a long and at times a dark tunnel, but you have found a light at the end.
Absolutely, and I walk in it every day.
Right. So, yeah, there's darkness, but there's real hope and light.
Absolutely, and you can get support, and there are people that want to help you.
Right. Well, I know this isn't easy to talk about, and I'm sure dredging up old pain is never something we enjoy, but there are a lot of folks out there that really need to hear it, so thank you very, very much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah. So folks, now we're going to go ahead and take a look inside our van, and I promise you that there is hope. And van dwelling may or may not be that hope for you, but it might be. I think it can be. I've seen it be many, many times. At least consider it. It's a way forward to whatever the universe has for you. Don't stay put. If there's any way you can muster up the courage to go, live a good life. You deserve it. So thank you so much, Kris.
Absolutely.
So folks, we're going to quit here. We're going to now take a tour. So come back and watch the tour video, and you'll see exactly the home that Kris has made for herself. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks, Kris.
Thanks, Bob.